What if the life you are living right now is almost yours? Not completely wrong, not obviously broken, just slightly different. Welcome to Fractured Realities, where the smallest choices can create entirely different lives. And sometimes, one version still remembers the other. Like somewhere along the way, something shifted. A conversation happened differently. A decision landed differently. A door opened that should have stayed closed, or maybe one stayed closed when it was supposed to open. And now you are here, in a life that looks familiar, with people you recognize, in places you know, following routines that make sense. But somehow, it does not feel exactly like the life you remember choosing. At first, you ignore it, because what else are you supposed to do? You wake up, you go to work, you answer messages, you make plans, you laugh at the right moments, you keep moving through the day like everything is normal. And for the most part, it is. That is what makes it so difficult to explain. Nothing has collapsed. No one has vanished. The sky has not changed color. Your name is still your name. Your memories are still mostly where you left them. But there is this quiet feeling underneath everything. A feeling that something is off by just a few degrees. Not enough to prove, but enough to notice. You might feel it when you walk into a room and forget why you came in. Or when a person you love suddenly feels further away than they should. You might feel it while driving down a road you have taken hundreds of times. And for one strange second, it feels unfamiliar, like you're remembering it from the wrong angle. Most people call that stress, or tiredness, or growing older. And maybe sometimes that is all it is. But what if there are moments in life where reality does not break loudly? What if it bends quietly? What if one small choice can move you into a slightly different version of everything? Think about how many decisions you make without realizing their weight. The message you almost sent, the call you almost answered, the job you almost declined, the person you almost stayed with, the road you almost took, the apology that arrived too late, the goodbye that never really happened. At the time, those moments feel small, ordinary, forgettable. But what if they are not? What if those are the moments where your life splits? Not into something dramatic, not into a world with different cities or different stars, but into a version so close to your own that you would never question it. At least, not straight away. In one version, you made the call. In another, you let it ring. In one version, you stayed. In another, you left. In one version, you said the thing you were afraid to say. In another, you swallowed it. And maybe each version kept going. Each one building a life around that single difference. A life with different conversations, different timing, different people becoming important. Different people slowly fading into the background. And maybe the strangest part is this. Every version of you thinks they are the original. Every version wakes up believing they are living the only path. But every now and then, one of them feels it. A strange pull, a quiet ache. A memory of something that never happened. Have you ever missed a place you have never been? Have you ever felt nostalgic for a moment that does not belong to you? Have you ever looked at someone and felt, just for a second, like there was supposed to be more history between you? Maybe that feeling is not random. Maybe it is the echo of another path. A version of your life close enough to touch, but too far away to return to. That might explain why some memories feel strange. Not false, not exactly, just distant in a way they should not be. Like they happened to you, but also to someone else. You remember the house, the room, the conversation, the person, but when you reach for the feeling attached to it, It is blurred, as if the memory was copied from another version of you and pasted here. Maybe that is why some friendships fade without a clear reason. Maybe somewhere else the bond stayed strong. Maybe that is why certain choices haunt you more than they should. Because some part of you remembers the life that came after the other decision. Not clearly, not in detail, but emotionally. You do not remember what happened. You remember how it was supposed to feel. And that is why this life can feel so strange sometimes. Because it may not be wrong. It may just be one version, one branch, one outcome, one room in a house with endless doors. The uncomfortable question is not whether another version of your life exists. The uncomfortable question is, what if you can feel it? What if those moments of déjà vu are not glitches in memory? What if they are brief overlaps? A second where two versions of you stand close enough to share the same thought. And for one impossible moment, both of you feel like you're in the wrong place. Then it passes. The world continues. The room becomes familiar again. The road looks normal again. The person across from you says your name, and you return to yourself. But not completely. Because once you notice the feeling, you start seeing it everywhere. In the silence after certain conversations. In the dreams that feel more like memories. In the way some days seem to repeat the emotional shape of older days. In the choices you keep circling back to. And in the question you never say out loud. What if this is not the life I was supposed to be living? Maybe that question scares us because it sounds ungrateful. After all, this life may still be good. There may still be love here. There may still be purpose. There may still be people who need you in this version. So maybe the point is not to escape it. Maybe the point is not to find the perfect timeline. Maybe the point is to understand that every life carries ghosts. Not ghosts of the dead, ghosts of the possible. The person you could have become, the place you could have ended up, the love you could have kept, the dream you could have followed. They do not disappear just because you chose differently. They stay with you, quietly, not as punishment, but as proof that your life was never as simple as one straight line. Maybe you are not broken for feeling out of place. Maybe you are not lost for wondering about the other path. Maybe some part of you is simply aware that life is wider than the version you can see. And maybe the version of you in that other life feels the same way. Maybe they wake up some mornings with the same strange ache. Maybe they look around at everything they gained and still wonder what they lost. Maybe they think about you without knowing your name. The version who went the other way. The version who ended up here. And maybe, in some quiet, impossible way, you are both real, both unfinished, both carrying pieces of each other. So if your life feels different lately, if the world feels familiar but slightly out of sync, if you cannot explain why certain moments feel like they belong somewhere else, maybe nothing went wrong. Maybe reality did not break. Maybe you simply became aware of the fracture, the place where one life became many, the place where one choice became 1,000 endings, the place where you slipped, not into the wrong life, but into one possible version of it. And maybe that means the life you remember, the life you almost lived, the life that still calls to you in dreams and quiet rooms, is not gone. Maybe it is still out there, moving beside this one, close enough to feel, too far to reach. And maybe the reason you feel it now is because for one brief moment, you were closer to it than you were ever supposed to be. In this reality and the next, never stop chasing the fractures.